afternoon, my friends. This is Ashling from Soul Inspiring. Today I would like to talk to you about a therapy I offer, and that's the hypnosis. That's the clinical and regressive hypnosis. There are two types of hypnosis. So yes, this is something I really love doing. I think it's an amazing therapy for everybody, and it's very widely spread, and you can work with many infinite issues and themas with this clinical hypnosis. Like, the clinical one works everything that's got to do on a physical, basically on a physical level, right? On a physical, to say, a person who smoked all their life and they cannot give up alone, they would call me and they would come in for hypnosis, yeah? So, or a person who's suffering from anxiety, depression, children who don't control the night when they make pee-pee in the bed, somebody who bites their nails, well, a lot of different issues, or somebody who wants to have an interview, they've got a job interview and they're nervous about it and they want to have success in this interview, so they would come to a hypnotherapist previously to make sure that in the moment of the interview they're really calm and relaxed and they can attend this interview as best as possible. Or people who have phobias and fears, like dental phobia. A lot of people who have fear and phobia to go to the dentist because they've had a trauma in this life or in another life, and that's still sitting within them, this trauma. And then they go to the doctor and they're all nervous and they cannot relax, right? Or they're the whole system, nervous system gets so altered that they can simply not relax. And this, of course, is not good also for the dentist and for themselves, etc. So then they also look for a hypnotherapist, and this can be worked also with hypnosis. So it's, as you see, it's in many, it offers a lot of varieties and a lot of issues that can be worked on. So basically the hypnosis is an altered state of consciousness. What does this mean? It means that our two brains, we have the analytical and the non-analytical, or the conscious and the unconscious, subconscious side of our brain, okay? So with the hypnosis, what we do with talking to the person and putting on a specific music, hypnotic music, which helps to change the waves of the brain from alpha, beta, theta, delta. All these wave brains are there. So we want to make sure that they enter in a state that the person then is and enters this hypnotic state, okay? The best wave where the brain works, where we then change the the programming of the mind, is when the person is in this theta state. Delta is very deep, that's very profound, but theta would be good, or even alpha would be good, you know? So how do we get there? How is this being done? It's being done with this music, with me talking to the people, while they're either sitting on a chair or they can be lying on a bed, on one of those specific beds, and then you begin to talk to them. They close their eyes, and then what happens that as I go relaxing with the talk, all of their muscles, all their body, basically every muscle in their body, they then begin to really relax and calm down. And then the moment comes where their mind, the analytical mind, right, that also drops, that also begins to relax. And that's when then the subconscious mind gets kind of alert and active, and the logical mind, right, the conscious mind it's the one that's always thinking, analyzing, criticizing, judging, etc. This is kind of going to sleep. It's really entering a pacific state, to give it a name. And the unconscious mind or subconscious mind is then becoming like jumping out, you can say, or getting active. And that's where I then can access with a new order, with giving it new orders, so that this programming that was there hindering the person to change whatever topic they come to see me for, that can be then shifted and changed. Yeah, so basically it's done with giving a new order, eliminating the old programming that's there, and this is done with the verbal, with the speaking to them. The hypnosis itself, it's very relaxing, it's very soothing. People love it because they feel really very relaxed, you know. Once they trust you and they build this rapport with you, between the therapist and the person that comes, always has to be a rapport, okay, so that they can open up, and they can, of course, they need to feel very confident to let you access their mind, right, the unconscious mind. So this is really, it's a wonderful therapy. People love it, and it's very, very helpful. And yeah, this is basically what I do, what I love doing, one of the therapies. And if you want to get hold of me, you want to reach out to me and speak to me about any issue you want to work with, you can always find me in my webpage, which is www.hypnosis with H-I, not with Y, not in English, it's in Spanish, okay? Hypnosis, Javier, which is JAVEA.com. So you can always contact me through my webpage, and via my webpage you can also access to the Facebook page, which I have there too. Then there is my telephone number indicated. You could call me and we could speak about anything you would like to work on. If there's a possibility, if this is an issue, we work with hypnosis, yeah. And I would then make certain questions to find out how you are like willed, how open you are to come to receive information and to really enter this state of hypnosis. Also, one thing I wanted to mention is before we begin the therapy with hypnosis, we do a test, yeah? We do a test because I need to know how the person concentrates and how the person can visualize as well. Because since everything is like metaphoric through the voice and through the speech, that person, it is important that it can really visualize and how the concentration is, so that it can follow my voice and be with me and not dissociate while I'm talking, right? So these are various tests we do, and also to see that how willed is that person to enter the hypnotic state. So this is all being done in the first visit. When you come to see me, we do like a previous interview, and that's when all this is being found out, and talk with the person, etc., to make sure that then when we do the hypnotic itself, the person is really willed and ready, and yeah, can have it very smooth to fall into hypnosis, and we can change then the information that it wishes or that's needed, yeah. So this is something I love doing, and this is my offer for you today. I thank you so much for listening, for being here, and should you have any questions in regard to hypnosis, clinical, or the other one I mentioned was the regressive one, which I haven't spoken about, I'll mention it to you now, you can always contact me, okay? And the regressive hypnosis is a hypnosis where you take the person back into another life. People come for regressive therapy mostly when they had a trauma in a previous life, and that trauma is still lingering in the physical body and is not letting them move on. They're kind of stuck, yeah, something they feel as a blockage, they're being stuck and they don't know where it's coming from. So very often this is coming from a past life trauma. I'll give you an example. A lady maybe that was raped in a previous life, and she still carries this memory within her cells, within her cell memory, and can't get over it. Obviously in this life what happens that she's kind of blocking herself down to intimate with men, or she may be fearful of men. So whatever this trauma has left a residue in herself, creates this blockage so that she cannot open up, right? She cannot open up to men. She's always maybe fearful or skeptic or believes they're all bad or whatever. So we need to then access again the subconscious mind and find out what is this, which is the memory that is still lying there and hindering this woman to obviously have a happy life in regard with men, right? So this would be the regressive. So basically you take her back to this moment when she suffered this in a previous life, And while the person is hypnotized, even if you take her back to that same moment, they will never suffer like they did in the previous life. It's not, they don't suffer when they're in hypnosis. They can relive it, but they don't suffer, you know. It doesn't really feel bad for them, or it hurts them so badly like it did in a life, in the previous life, when they've gone through that same situation. So this is, yeah, and that's when then we change. we find out together with questions I make, and the person, while it's being hypnotized, can respond, can give me answers. So with the feedback of her or him and me, we can find out where are the triggers and what were the causes, or which is the cause that is now in this life hindering that person. And we then change the program in the subconscious mind so that this is eliminated, and she can then, or he, yeah, she, in this case a woman, she can then be free and open up and really trust again in men, and open up to intimacy or whatever with men, you know, that she can basically have a happy life again in all this regard. So this would be the regressive hypnosis. So you see there are two different forms, like the clinical and the regressive. Now I must say, the regressive, I don't really work much with the regressive, because I think in this life, in our life, we all have pretty much enough stuff to look and to work on ourselves now. So I don't think we need to go back into previous lives to really integrate there deeply, to see what are there of traumas or things that are still hurting us or not letting us go on, right? So I prefer to work with the clinical hypnosis, because I think it's much more fun, and it's in this life, it's physical, it's something for the body. So that's what I would recommend to a person always when they come. But as said, we will do previous interview and talk about everything, so then that person, between both of us, we can then decide what's the best and go ahead with that decision. Okay, so yeah, this is all I wanted to speak today about, and I wish you for joining and for hearing and watching, and I hope to hear you and see you in the future sometime also. Take care then, bye bye.